On your re-election. Congrats for winning all 5 precincts in this re-election. I'd like to compliment you on your positive campaign versus the other signs that we all saw around our community that weren't as nice. Thanks to our new council members that were elected, I believe we have 2 new council members coming on. As we move from the election, I think we'd all like to hear what your plans are for 2016-17, short-term, long-term plans. Some would like to share in your work. I've got 3 thoughts. Get the fire station named. End this frivolous lawsuit, Mr. Fox, please, on behalf of the town, and save us money. And 3, improve the enforcement of our town speed limits. Thank you very much.
Okay, coming across the row. Anyone else on the second row? Third row. Yes, sir. Come on.
My name is Mike Davis. I live at 4612 Homestead Place. First of all, thanks once again for those who served, past and present and moving forward. Best wishes for continual improvement on the flow of goings-ons in this town. It's my hope that this town can get some calmness and settle down and enjoy what we all moved here for: controlled growth, low taxes, small town feel, neighbors who get along, good services for protection of our homes and families, and all the other rich attributes of a small town. And I really hope that the town and its people realize enough already about a broken fire department model that is done, put to rest, and moving on. As I've said before, it's the single most divisive issue we've dealt with in this town in many, many years. The town basically has voted twice. The consultants have advised twice. Let's become one again, support our elected officials, ask for and expect honesty and respect in return. Let's take comfort in knowing that the services we are receiving and have always received are exceptional, that the hired and the volunteers have never quit on us, and let's always give them our support. And finally, for those who have served in the past, like I said, we appreciate your services going back several terms. You'll never be forgotten. The water tower is prominently on display. So that's all I have.
Let's continue. Yes, sir.
Walt Hogan, 5009 Laurel Grove Lane. First, I'd like to congratulate you, Mayor, for your win, and also Scott Buzzard. Great election here. You did a great job the last 2 years. You said what you were going to do. You had a plan. You executed it. You said what you want to do in the future, and the plan was validated going forward. I have a request for the next 2 years. I'd like a formal special commission to investigate the back building, the $206,000 spent on it, the $14,000 for the framing, the $10,000 or $12,000 for the other piece, and the $22,000 for the contract management. I'd also like a solution to the apparently previously known faulty septic system and the possible fraudulent sale of the property in the first place. And I recommend Ms. Harrison lead that effort. I recommend an exact, clear definition of the word mixed use, what it means, where it belongs, and where it doesn't belong. I think we need a tightly definition of ethics, including the concept of the appearance of wrongdoing. I think we need to formally recuse or have Ms. recuse herself until after the Barry Hadley $750,000 penalty suit is settled, and perhaps a streaming video so that the citizens who can't make it to the meeting here can see what's going on. Ms. Harrison, thank you for your service, the abuse you endured, and your actions in the best interest of Weddington. For your information, 1,045 of the 1,800 votes cast were not for Ms. Probst, so there's no mandate from Weddington voters there. Thanks also to Ms. Callis for putting the interest of Weddington ahead of her personal gain. I support your decision, appreciate it. Perhaps your example should be a lesson for other folks. And Ms. Hadley, thank you for proving that a small special interest group and developers, their money, major spin on political rhetoric can be defeated by sticking to facts and past performance. For example, the video of you pulling up election signs did not appear, although it does exist. You still deserve to be removed from council for your ethical breach, and some have suggested that you are monetarily responsible for the lawsuit. Anyway, the citizens did not want to elect the developers with you as their lead. Is this a great country or what? Thank you.
Okay, coming across the row there. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Eric Flowers. I live at 4001 Ancestry Circle here in Weddington. And I'd like to ask the council to consider in the next term to look at the way we elect people in this town. North Carolina allows basically 3 individual ways to select people. We stick with the simple plurality method. We had a mayor elected, I believe it was 5 or 6 years ago, with 66% of the people in this town voting against her. But she won because she had a plurality. We now have a council person who was elected with 58% of the people in this town voting against her. I think that in order to have a valid service by these people, we need to consider one of 2 things: a nonpartisan primary with an election, depending upon how many people are running for a particular office, or an election in a runoff method. Those are things that you can consider in the next term that could be done at a planning conference or something along those lines, maybe a special meeting. I'd also like to speak to the fact that we do have a new council coming on, a mandate. I believe it has been issued by the voters of this town. I would ask that the town seriously consider a second legal opinion on the lawsuit that's currently pending against the town. I know that Parker Poe wrote the initial contract. I think it's time for a second opinion. I believe the taxpayers are paying a lot of money to Parker Poe right now to address this issue. Unfortunately, that is our system. But I can tell you as a lawyer, I've read the contract. I believe from an equitable position, Providence Volunteer Fire Department, as much as I hate to say it, has something coming to them. They did give up something in return for what the town got, and I think if we just simply paid them the $750,000, initially this would all be behind us. All be behind us at this point in time. I don't agree with things they've done. I wish that more people from Providence who said that they wanted to serve this community would do so and join Wesley Chapel and put this chapter behind us once and for all, and not have this petty bickering that we've dealt with. And just I could not believe that town council meeting we had at the church. I've never seen a more disgusting display against public officials in my life. It was just uncalled for and unheard of in this town's history. So I look forward to a pleasant future. I ask that you please get a second legal opinion, and this whole thing's going to end up in a negotiation. I can tell you that right now. We all know it. Let's settle this thing and move forward as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Okay, next row, 1, 2, 3, I think that's row number 4 coming across. Anybody? Next row, I believe that's row number 5. Anybody? Okay, let's start over here on the left. Come on. Okay, Elton.
Elton Hardy of Providence Place 1. I had 2 things that had come up to me, and this is something I had some neighbors ask me to voice, and number 1 was the back building. And their concerns were the $206,000 that were invoiced by a board member of PBFD. Where did the money go to? They asked and said they feel like it's the council's responsibility to investigate this and put this to bed and get to the bottom of it, that it was pretty outrageous. If it's 800 and some square feet that were remodeled with $206,000. And I had photographs that neighbors had sent me that had gone and looked at all this. The other thing, which is a different issue, is back to the road issue. I had a number of neighbors talk to me about, number 1, the falls with all the mud we have. It's a pig path out there, and could they have a water truck to wash down the road after because they have to cross back and forth with their heavy equipment as they're hauling everything out. And then the third, and I think Don's working on this, is the illegal intersection that needs to be cut down to avoid, because as we add all these houses between Vintage Creek, Moser's development that's going in, it's about 450 houses on Antioch Road from Vintage Creek all the way down to Huntington. And this illegal intersection, blind curve, hasn't killed anybody that I know of, although there's been a number of wrecks, and it always is pretty exciting when you pull in and out. So that was the other thing that I had on my request. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bob Lockerman, 132 Antioch Woods Road, Antioch Woods neighborhood. Just two quick things. One is actually a follow-up with to what Elton has spoken of. Our neighbors have also asked to, if the council would take a look and do what they could or influence. You guys did a nice job, even talking with the DOT earlier and getting some shoulders filled in on our road. We appreciate that. That made a difference. But long-term, Antioch Church Road needs some work. We speak in support of Elton's neighborhood, but also for the fact that we take a look at the major thoroughfares. Antioch Church Road connects the Weddington School District. It connects Wesley Chapel to the YMCA, to the Francis Beatty Park. It's really becoming the main corridor. And then when you put the rest of the homes on there, it's just going to increase. Forest Lawn had a nice repavement. That's great. Chestnut, which I know is not in Weddington, but still near us. But the corridor that's not had anything done to it is Antioch Church Road. And again, we've worked with the DOT in the past. I appreciate it. Any efforts that the town could do would be appreciated by our neighborhood. And the second thing real quick would be just to keep an eye on the development that's going on currently in the Falls. The neighbor next to me at 1036, I'm not exactly sure, and maybe Jordan, we could talk afterwards, the setback off of our neighborhood, but they've clear cut to within about 35 feet of their property there. That would be 1036 Antioch Woods Drive. So just checking to see. That could be perfectly fine, but I just want to make sure. And our neighbors appreciate the work of the council, and good luck in the next 2 years.